Why I seen this lady was pranking her husband, and I thought about you because she had this like it was like a little Halloween mask, but it was like a face and two hands. And so she went on the outside. She put it up on the outside of the window, but she's in the mask, and it's like a mask and two hands. So she's on the window like this with this scary mask on and the little crinkly hands. And the dog, first the dog starts barking, right? So then the husband is going over to see what the dog is barking at. He pulled back the curtains and seen that shit. When I tell you that man almost fell and broke his back. And I thought about you.
Divorce. File me on papers right now. I'm not playing games with you. I'm not.
I said she would have been traumatized.
You think I would have moved out?
Welcome back to Thoughts in a Glass podcast. I'm LaToya.
I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts on all the things.
So sit back, grab yourself an adult beverage or a mocktail or whatever you like. And join us on a journey of fun, filled in laughter and a good time.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Every week we do a drink of the night. So Kendra, what is our drink tonight?
So tonight we're having a Sparkling Cranberry Pineapple Punch.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are sprinkling in some mocktail, refreshing, because this is the thing. You don't want to go to to a cookout and the only thing they have is full alcoholic beverages, and you're hot, and so you scarfing them down because you're hot. Next thing you know, with the heat, and now you are like super intoxicated. Yeah. So you need to have something on the menu that makes you feel like you have a little something, but there's nothing.
Not to mention, I'm glad we're taking a break because y'all be having us drinking every week.
Yes. We got to slow down. The calories got to get cut somewhere. So in this drink you have we went where you could do Sprite or ginger ale. So we did ginger ale. I filled it about a little less than halfway, and then you add a splash or two of cranberry, a splash or two of pineapple, and what we ended up doing is I added about a few doop drops of the lime and just garnished it with a lime.
I like it. Cheers. Interesting.
It's like
it's not as sweet as I thought it would be.
No, the ginger ale brings it down.
Mm-hmm.
And the lime kind of cuts it too.
Sidebar. I think Hercules farted.
Hercules.
You don't smell it?
Yes. Hercules, what's wrong? You stink.
I'm sitting up here like
it must have came like this. Cause I'm like, no. And then I lean in, cause maybe I'm back. I lean in, and you stink.
I'm sitting here like, where is that smell coming from? It's the dog, y'all. He just passed gas.
He is over me. He said, "Get her out of here." Okay, I know how to get her up out of here. Hercules, I've smelled worse. I have children.
Y'all excuse my voice. My allergies are killing me.
Today has been a day for the allergies.
Yeah,
and then it's like it's too cold or cool to wear out with the AC on, but it's too hot to have your windows up.
It's too stuffy. Yeah, and then like the pollen coming in. It's a lot going on. So y'all bear with me. So all right, let's get into it. Okay. I know.
Everybody's over it.
I mean, but
we gotta talk about it.
We didn't get a chance to talk. So we didn't get a chance to talk about this last week because I was scared that more things were gonna happen, and I was right.
Yes.
So we got to give our commentary on the Drake and Kendrick beef.
We got to, because let me tell you what we do. BBL Drizzy. BBL that I'll be doing anything, and then all of a sudden I'll be like BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. It's in my brain.
And if I'm being honest, I'm more of a Drake fan than a Kendrick fan.
Okay, talk about
it. But that poor little tink tink.
You know what it is? Because I've watched, I've already had my opinion. Because we did have a part of a recording of this.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about it. So we've already established the opinion.
Yeah.
Off of just the
preliminary,
the initial
that we had heard
stuff that came out. What was that?
It'll be 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, but the initial songs, because we only heard
it was girl.
Because matter of fact, no. So because we didn't. So it was before 616 came out.
Yes.
So all we heard was it was Drake came out, and then 30 minutes later, Kendrick came out. Because you had texted me, it was when I was on my way home.
Yes.
And you was like, Kendrick just dropped. I said, he ain't dropped nothing. What do you mean? Drake just dropped.
Yes.
And then that morning, Kendrick dropped again.
Yes.
And then Drake dropped.
Yes.
And then Kendrick dropped again. And then Metro Boomin dropped something.
Yes.
And now the whole world.
And apparently, I don't have I don't have all the details, but I think there's another Kendrick thing out there that I heard on TikTok, but I
did too.
I can't confirm it.
I can't confirm. That's why I said I haven't talked about it because I can't confirm it. I think they said that it was another one. And this is the thing. Okay, we're gonna start from the beginning. Boop, 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 all the way from the beginning. How this all started. So it started from that the song. Well, I think that from what I've seen, because I had to do a little research, y'all, because I'm not a hip hop hippity hopper.
Same.
Right? Call me R&B 90s. That's who I know about. I dip in on the hip hop when I get a chance, but it ain't somewhere I reside. It's just the Airbnb for me. You know, it ain't somewhere I stay. So I had to do a little bit of research and get the opinions on the initial start of this beef from both Kendrick fans and Drake fans. So it seems like the consensus is that there was always something lurking underneath for whatever reason.
I really think from the beginning. I mean, I want to say after, because Drake brought Kendrick and J. Cole and A$AP Rocky on their first big tour.
Yes.
But it seems like pretty much after that,
it's been a little murky waters.
Yeah, it's been a little murky. Like subliminal shots.
And so the most recent shot was when Kendrick was asked by Drake to be on that song with him and J. Cole.
Right.
And J. Cole mentioned the big three, but I believe that Drake was sending subliminal saying, ain't no, like, they was like, okay, we the big three, but then in the next phase of that song, or the next, I was about to say stanza, child. It ain't the damn stanza.
The
next verse. Thank you.
Yeah.
In my mind, I see the V. Like, if you're not going to catch it, I can't throw it. The next verse, it was basically like they were talking to each other. So they even kind of like, it wasn't like Kendrick was a part of, like, it ain't no big three. It's just me and you kind of thing. Right. So then Kendrick gets on a song with Future. And at one point, Future and J. Cole were friends. Like,
Future and Drake were like best friends.
Besties.
Yeah.
They had a bromance. A real romance going on. So, and then that's when he said, F the big three, it's just big me. And so then that's a shot at J. Cole because that literally piggybacked off of J. Cole's line.
Right.
So then J. Cole jumps in, he put his toe in, and then he said the water is a little too cold.
Yeah.
I'm going to get
out. That toe right back out.
It's not worth my time. No, I'm not going to say not worth my time. I know what this going to lead to. And I know, I think J. Cole is,
peace.
He's well aware enough to know that man got a, what did he get? Not a Nobel Peace Prize. What did he get?
Yeah.
It was a Nobel.
A Pulitzer.
No, exactly. Now that's a person that knows some words.
Yeah.
And he has wordplay that I'm not going to get into it with that man. On top of that, it's a lot of, and it has to be a lot of thinking, a lot of staying on your toes, a lot of, all right, did he drop? I think Kendrick took the time that he took because he had a strategy. I need to have about 15 songs so that every time he drop, I'm already prepared.
Yep.
I don't have time. It's like Drake was ready for a battle. Kendrick was preparing for the war,
Mm-hmm.
and Drake, you didn't win.
Mm-mm.
You weren't prepared. And the fact that you called him out, like, where you at? Where you at?
It makes it even
Sir.
worse.
Oh, don't you worry about it.
And I don't think it was that Drake wasn't a worthy opponent, because I do think that, and a lot of people may disagree with me, but like I said at the beginning, I'm predominantly a Drake fan, and I still think he lost. But I do think that Drake was a worthy opponent. I'm hard pressed to think of anybody else that's big enough and that's good enough, because you have a lot of rappers that maybe they're good with the words, but they don't have the popularity to make this a real industry beef. I think Drake is probably the only. I mean, in Kendrick's class, let me say that too.
Okay.
Because sure, Kendrick could probably go against a Jay-Z or somebody like that, but they in different classes.
This is the thing. This is where I have a little bit of heartburn with that. And I know people say ghostwriters. Everybody has ghostwriters. The fact that it's never just you going against somebody.
Okay.
So when you say, it's like saying, if I did a project and I did it by myself and I do all my work by myself, right? And then you do a project, but you got 17 other people that's helping you do that project.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's a difference. It's a difference on which, because you may bring a piece to the table, but Kendrick is bringing you might be bringing the main, but you got other people who's bringing the sides. If Kendrick's doing all of the cooking, I'm like, now you delivered it yourself. The delivery is you, right? So I get it. The delivery, the popularity, being able to give it, pull it all together. You're there can be people that bring all, like a potluck, right? Everybody brings something, but I'm going to be the one to arrange it and to put it all together. And so we all contributed. But if Kendrick is the one that, there was nobody bringing all of the other stuff together. It was me doing all of the cooking, all of this. So I give that a little bit more credit, because this is coming from a singular source.
I hear that, but I challenge it with this. Drake, while he does use ghostwriters and that does discredit him, he also writes. He writes for himself, and he even writes for others.
Right.
So I don't think that takes away from his ability. Like, using your analogy, okay, on this one project I worked with the group, but there are several other projects where I did it on my own. So I'm just saying that I feel like they were equally matched, in the sense that he has the skill set to go against Kendrick. The choices he made, he didn't make all of the best choices. I think he could have. I think if he would have stuck with kind of doing his own thing and really focusing on the beef, it would have been a little bit more consistent. I think he took Kendrick for granted and felt like he could do some other stuff and people wouldn't notice it. Like
the AI stuff and
it's like, it kind of reminds me of like, you're really smart, or like you're one of the smartest, people in your class, and so you kind of get lazy because you're like, whatever, I can do whatever on this project. But then you get a person that is also real smart, but they just not as vocal,
right, boisterous about it.
Yeah. And then you go head to head with that person, and you're not fully bringing your
A game.
Yes.
But that's the thing. So
and I'm not. I'm not saying that if he brought his A game, things would be different. But the fact that you did use ghostwriters, and there were some balls dropped in your responses, it lets me know that you kind of slept on it.
Yeah. I think that in how Kendrick does drop things where you don't get stuff immediately, like you'll get a project and a year, 2 years go by. You know what I'm saying? You don't really hear from him consistently. But I look at that as, and I think that Drake looked at, he's not going to jump out there. It's going to take him another 3. I think he thought he did work 3 weeks on a song, and didn't think Well, now
He spent 3 weeks. He probably is working on
multiple things
a discography.
and got 15 more. You can drop. And the thing is, this is my other thing that the strategy of it. The fact that Kendrick can drop a response 30 minutes later tells me he already knew what you was going to talk about.
Well, not even that. But he could probably assume.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Where you were going with it.
You play the same hand
and
every time.
No, but I think he baited him into it. Like, because he started off talking about certain shit.
Yeah, because he knows, because you played your hand the same time. If this person brings up this, I'm going to match, like, you're a matcher. And Kendrick's like, I don't care what you, like, I think that if he didn't put out Family Matters, and even, I think that Kendrick had a song to match everything. If you're going to talk about this, I can talk about that.
Yep.
If you're going to talk about this, I will talk about that. If you bring up anything, I have a song that's going to
absolutely
match. And then I think that he played it right where he was like, you about memes, I'm going to give you a meme.
Yeah.
You about bops, I'm going to give you a bop. And I'm going to drop everything prior, because you're not going to drop the bop until maybe like the end. Like, when it's all said, I'm going to drop this bop now.
I really love that Kendrick did that.
Yes. And didn't do something that because we thought Drake would be the one.
And I think Drake also underestimated Kendrick in that respect, thinking that he couldn't make a song that was a part of a rap beef that people would
be bopping to
and dance to. And he even said it, I think it was not Family Matters, it was the Tailor Made freestyle or push-ups.
Okay.
One of them, he said like something about every song he makes. Well, not the Free the Slaves thing, but he was saying something about how every song he makes, like, nobody's playing his music or nobody's listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that he was like, okay, hold my beer. And this is coming. I mean, I was really rooting for Drake.
I was rooting for you.
I really was, because I mean, I am a fan of his.
Okay.
But I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm not delusional, just like I don't think Beyonce can act, but
there are a few.
That's my girl. Yeah, but I ultimately, now this is one thing that was super interesting that I just saw today. Apparently, this beef has raised the listenership of Kendrick Lamar's backlog 52%. Mm-hmm. So basically on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, people are now listening to Kendrick's old music because of this.
I think what this ended up doing, which it did not do for Drake, it did not vote well in the fact that when he thought he really believes that he was not against everybody. Mm-hmm. And this shows how many people in the industry are over him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And the fact that I think there were a few, one of the biggest, like the missteps of saying anything about slaves and your mother's white. Yeah. You got that's you and you're from Canada. You cannot say anything about what happened here in these states. And we had to flee to Canada for freedom. So you've always been free.
Yeah,
that wasn't
just
cool.
A bad taste, and I'm like, come on, dog. You got a lot of money. You don't have like publicists and things like that are like cluing you in on things that are just not
right. Then you have your mother, because that was the person that said, you know what, I really don't think you should say the N-word anymore. And then he was like, whatever that's the opening when he just went ahead and said, I don't give a F.
Oh, that was his mom saying
that. Was his mother saying
okay.
that.
I didn't catch that.
So you have your white mama on your record in the midst of you, like, come on.
It's kind of proving Kendrick's point.
It's very much so. It's
not landing the way he wants it to land.
You're trying to hit the strip, baby, and you're in the ocean. It's not. You're not doing it. And so I feel like, and so one of the things I was watching, listening to earlier, and it rose a very good point. It's Ebro, but I don't know. I can't remember what the name of the podcast is.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things he said, it was like Drake never settled in like having a home, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about like, because Kendrick has the West, like Tupac had like Kendrick had Compton, Tupac had was it he
Compton?
yeah,
Yeah.
Compton, LA.
Or Oakland.
Oh yeah,
Was it? I don't know. I
somewhere
don't
on
know.
that.
I don't know.
Look,
I don't
somewhere
know.
on the West.
Yeah.
Biggie had Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
everybody had their home that they work with people from that home. Like he never went and solidified.
I don't agree with that. I feel like he reps Toronto pretty
But
vehemently.
what they're saying, so I guess they're saying like you have a sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drake does not have it. Like where's the Toronto sound? Like if you listen to Kendrick, you hear it. If you listen to Big, like you hear it. If you listen to Ludacris, you hear, like you've seen them hone in. This is my home. This is my sound. This is what we're pushing.
I don't know what the Toronto sound is.
Because that's what I'm saying. You're the one, a Toronto
but I'm
rapper.
just saying, I don't even know what it is to compare. You know what I mean? Like, I would have to listen to rappers from that area to compare.
But that's
But I think Drake is trying to be successful in the U.S. market. So, I don't know if he's making a connection of, okay, take that originality and bring it here and make it popular.
But that's
I think he's trying to be popular here, so he's cherry picking.
But that's
from what we already.
So that's when he says you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. That's what colonizers do. Right. So it's again. So I'll say that to say you're still, instead of being. It's like when we talk about a person and their personality, right? Your foundation. Where is your foundation?
Right.
We don't hear your foundation,
and maybe it is in it, but I don't know.
What the thing is,
I don't know what that is.
I feel as if we would know if he wasn't trying to be from Atlanta, if he was, depending on who he was with, it's the sound he picks up. So there's no authenticness about you. We can't say, oh yeah, we know the Toronto sound because he's pulled like new people from Canada and stuff. That's who he's talking to, and it's not even just Toronto. You could have said the Northeast.
Okay, but question: do people say that about The Weeknd? Because he's from Toronto, and I feel like he sounds like any R&B person that's in the U.S.
But I think when you come to regionally, I don't necessarily hear a lot of Virginia in Chris Brown.
I agree.
I don't hear a lot of DC and Tank. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think R&B,
it doesn't
translate well. It's like, okay. So when you're talking about, because with R&B, you're talking about romance and other things. I think in rap, the first place it starts with is you're rapping about what happens to you in your life, where you come from. Talk about where I come from. I'm in the trenches, trying to get out of this rapping thing. And in that, a lot of times it's just because rap is rhythm and poetry. It's a story. And so if you don't have a story, you're rapping about someone else's story. What is your story from Toronto?
Yeah.
Your story is videos of you saying, I don't understand why they're talking like that, because they just sound very unintelligent.
I mean,
sir, but then you come down here and you niggas and niggas.
All of it gives identity crisis, right?
Very much so.
Because whenever you're around certain audiences,
that's who you are. That's who
you placate to that audience.
Yep.
One thing, though, sorry, I keep drinking because my throat is like.
Well, this first time, Lord Jesus, because your drink be full by the time we finish the dangle podcast.
I know, but also this one don't have alcohol in it.
That's true. Because she be babysitting.
One thing that somebody said on TikTok, and I don't know who, because I be just watching videos, but she said that when Drake first came out, he had this whole like lover boy image where a lot of his music was like about women and like his past relationships and like having his heart broken and things like that, and that really connected with a lot of people. I mean, mainly women. That was his fan base, right?
Right.
But what she was saying was that was kind of his only original idea, and he probably would have benefited from just sticking in that lane.
Yeah.
Like, you either do that or you make like club bops, but like trying to get into this gangster rap thing,
and that's the thing.
It's unauthentic, and we can see it.
Right.
What Kendrick say? We're not dumb.
Listen, we're not dumb. you're showing your underwear under your skirt. It's blowing out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's so funny because I was I don't like Joe Budden's podcast. I'm not a big fan. Um, but everybody, the consensus was that Kendrick won, and I don't know the light skinned dude. So they was playing Not Like Us.
I don't watch it, so
It was just a clip, but they were playing Not Like Us, and you could the caption said, look at, let's say his name is Mike. Look at Mike sitting there acting like he don't like the song. He's the only one sitting there like this.
I mean, you can't hate on it. It's a bop.
Everybody in the studio was dancing, and he was just sitting there like, I don't like the song. I don't like the beat. I'm like, how, so
that's the best part. When I first heard that,
I was like, man down, call an ambulance, tell him breathe, bro, Nella nigga to the boss, he walk around like Tito. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all in their mama. How many options really got? How many is too many options?
The thing is, it's so funny because every have late night shots sometimes. While I was scrolling, why they played it in Planet Fitness.
Oh, they did.
In the middle of the night, they was because the dude, the worker was like, and it was playing in Planet Fitness. They played it at the Lux football, like baseball game. They came out to that. Child, why President Biden and Kamala had the problem? He's like, I hate the way you look, and they had Trump. I was like, now you can't. The president can't fix size. Now you got to stop. So I think what Drake has usually succeeded in, especially with the memes and stuff. But I think the overall winner for me is Metro Boomin, because he got the whole world, clowning this man. I mean, when I say clown,
I guess, but I feel like Metro Boomin, like him and Kendrick have been going like song for song for song since from March to fucking May.
I understand this, right? But the fact that Metro Boomin put out a beat, I've heard it rapped on in French, Japanese. They have made it. They did a Caribbean mix to it, Mexican. I mean, it's brung out so, and then a lot of up and coming artists have really been shredding his ass on this.
Okay, but back to Metro Boomin, Drake did say, go sit down and make some beats. And
I'm gonna do that.
He sat down and made a beat.
And he sat down and made a beat that is killing you right now.
Okay.
That is giving you. I mean, it's not like he was like. I mean, the thing is, he went out and made a beat. You want me to do that? No, not a problem. It's not gonna be a beat that you.
It's like he turned it around. Like
it's like when you tell
you think you shooting a shot at me,
but like, that's what I do, and I'm gonna show you what I do. And it's like when he said, "Yeah, Kendra, where you at?" Okay, don't you worry about it. Don't you? So you continue to call these people out, and it does not vote well for you in the end.
It don't, but honestly, I don't think this is gonna really affect him, other than like public opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
But the thing is, nobody has had a really great public opinion of Drake for a long time.
I think that it's not the fact that I don't think that this is necessarily anything like Drake is going to continue to do whatever he's going to do. I think this does show that a lot of people in the industry are not rocking with him. And I think that what it did do was shine light on Kendrick in a way that people had not seen him.
But doesn't that kind of prove Drake's point when he says this beef that you have with me is for attention? And I mean, Kendrick is getting a lot of attention.
So this is the thing that I don't think so. I think what happens is just like with I think that Kendrick's lyricism, I think that he came down to Drake's level.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come down from, because there are a lot of people that really brought Kendrick, but it's not something that, no, it's not radio play. It's like thinking music.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Tupac stuff was not radio stuff. It was thinking music. There's a few things that may pop on the radio, but his real stuff, like his real fan, like there's a certain level of fandom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think with Drake, you don't play that. You're not that kind of artist, right? So you have artistry and music that is radio ready, right? Mm-hmm. That is good for the club. you don't have a fandom that can say, I listened to this record and it got me through this time period in my life, or it made me look at myself differently because he's bringing something different out of me. Like, you know what, this man is talking about, his life, like real stuff that I don't want to hear about your wife leaving you because you are dealing with generational trauma that your mom went through and is causing it onto you. I don't want to hear that. But at the club, but when I'm in my room, because I'm going through something, I could put a Kendrick song on it and it helps me through. Mm-hmm. That's real fandom, right? That's somebody that's like, I can listen to that. There are people that can say, I can listen to Tupac right now and it can really take me to
a place.
Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing with SZA was like this. There are artists where it's like,
but I think Drake does. I think that real Drake fans will have those songs in his catalog that are like that. I just think instead of, just like I said before, instead of staying in that lane where a lot of that music for him would be his relationship issues, right? So, like, I know, I'm going to put my sister out there. She ain't going to care. I know some of his music got her through, like, bad relationships or breakups or things like that, right? And that, let's just stick with the Take Care album. A lot of that probably wasn't being played on the radio, other than the bops that were radio ready. Mm-hmm. But I think he switched it up in his career and started just making more radio bops instead of
sticking to his keeping his foundation. And that's not
to say that artists can't change, but but I'm just saying, to your point, he didn't stay there and evolve in that, whereas I think Kendrick did. Like, I want to talk about something significant,
and I want to stay to this.
And wherever that significance changes for me, whether it be racial, social, political issues or relationship stuff or whatever it may be, I'm going to focus on that.
Because that's my core. That's
and
what
talk about what's important to me. Right. Whereas I think Drake moved away from what he was dealing with, what was true to him, what was important to him, and now what can make a hit? What does everybody want to hear? But that's what can make a bop? And
so that's why I mean when they said, so I don't think when people say, when he's saying that this is making you popular, no, I stayed what was true to me. Mm-hmm. What was important to, so you're thinking being popular is meaning radio play, having more money. That is your ideal. My being popular is touching this person and staying into this. So what I think, for me, what I believe is what Kendrick did was lower himself to where Drake's level was. Oh, you want to be where the masses are. You want to be where some stuff I got to I have to stay true to myself. I'm a wordsmith. I'm going to say these things, but I'm also going to make it in layman's terms where the people that
basically, so that your fan base
can understand
what I'm saying.
So now we're on the same level.
Yeah.
And so, because you have people that are really Kendrick fans that analyzed it very much further into than what Drake fans did. Because when people was like, oh, A minor, they was like, Kendrick fans, no, A minor is this, and it's this, and it's like a triple, entendre on all of these things. And Drake fans like, nah, he was just talking about that. No, that's not what he said. So I think that he made it palatable for the masses, where he's usually at a different
level. I think rightfully so. I think it's very specifically because that's something that Drake was calling him out about. And so he's like, okay, I can be on your stage as well.
Yeah, right.
Like, I was over here doing my own thing, but I can be on your stage as well.
Right.
And I applaud him for that.
Yeah.
I feel like he didn't have to, but he did.
And I think that also was like, maybe this also helped Kendrick see that. And that one of Kendrick's fans was like, I don't want this nigga out here all the time. I don't want to deal with what he can, like his level of music. I don't need that all the time. Meaning, I don't need the think pieces because he's going to give me that. And sometimes you just I don't want to think about it because it's going to make me look at social change. It's going to I don't want to think. I want to, and it's understandable, right? You have artists
and as an artist, it's okay. And I'm sure he knows this, but I hope that this is bringing to light that as an artist, it's okay to sometimes do something light, do something fun, do something that maybe it's outside of your normal genre, but it's still giving your fans a part of you, because I'm sure he has a bunch of different sides to him. So like, you could throw out, something like this every now and then, and it shouldn't have to be provoked by another artist baiting you into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think yes, space. But I think he also has other. Sometimes you have other priorities. You have other things that are more important to you. It's like, yeah, I could do that, but it takes away from
the bigger picture.
The bigger picture of what I'm really trying to do. Like, I would, for me, I would be, if I was maybe Kendrick, I'm just thinking, there are enough artists that do that. I don't need to contribute to that.
Yeah.
I can stay here and continue this because they got that lane. I don't need to, like J. Cole would say, slid in my lane. I don't need to slide in somebody else's lane. But like I said, you said prior to, or in the beginning, Drake underestimated the levels in where Kendrick can go. And so this kind of just showed, like, he can be a fun guy too, right? Like, I could be the fun guy. I have kids. My kids are young. I can still be that person. It did get a little, I will say, I am not a person that's like, I need to know if all this is true. I could really give it, like, that's y'all business. However y'all live y'all lives, I don't get paid off of y'all. That's y'all business.
Yeah.
But I just would hope that, sometimes when people be joning, people gonna say whatever they got to say to get out the joke.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, and all of these different people, like the people that what really gave me a key, a ha, is a Caucasian lady that said, now this done got to the 40 and over white folk.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me in the group chat.
Okay.
She was trying to let me break this down for me, y'all. I like this. One girl was became a ghostwriter to the thing. It was like, she's like, whoever wants to do it, just, I can't rap it. I just got the words for it. Y'all put it in the rap. Just, at me on it or whatever. So I think that I think for a lot of people over on the West, this song has really brung them together. I think that this gave a lot of up and coming artists something to aspire, was putting music to it and aspire to it. The memes that came out of it, the children that's dancing to it. It's just a good time. One thing that Joe Budden said, he was like, you better thank your lucky stars. This is not football HBCU season.
Yeah, but I don't think it matters.
It don't, because it's coming. This
coming.
gives me enough time to do the music, because the practices start. Marching band practice. When did we start marching band practice? I know it's summertime.
In the summer.
The music is being put together. It's gonna be a trip.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the music.
I'm glad
I enjoyed the
so,
commentary. I hope it's over.
What do you think? Because everybody has their mixed opinions about the Hard Part 6.
I feel like he should have waited. And I know his ego and his pride probably wouldn't let him wait. But I feel like the Hard Part 6 doesn't get enough credit. First of all, I feel like Family Matters was actually really good. But no one will ever care at this point.
The way that he dropped that music right after that.
And so I feel like I would have, but I don't have the arrogance that Drake has. But for me, I would have learned a lesson from that. Like, okay.
let me slow down.
Because everybody's on this wave right now. And while I want to win, I got to let this wave fade out a little bit. And I would have let the wave fade out just a little bit. I would have waited probably anywhere from 5 days to maybe 7 days. Because even though it's still a bop, it wouldn't be so fresh in people's minds. And then I would have put the Hard Part 6 out. He only waited 1 day. I don't think that was enough time.
Yeah. And then, because we were like, that's not him giving up. And I feel like when you say at the
I
end
don't
of,
think it's him giving up. I think it's him saying, I'm. They've been going back and forth for damn near 2 months.
mm-hmm.
I think Drake is saying we've gotten to the point where we can say all we can say about each other without it getting real. You know what I'm saying? Without us really exposing personal information. So what else can we say?
Well, maybe I'm at a thought of, and we'll go there.
I don't know. I think it's certain things that will impact and affect other people. Like they've already said a lot. Mm-hmm. So like at this point, the only thing you can do is to basically destroy. Y'all already destroying each other. Mm-hmm. So the only thing you can do now is just like go to other people that are connected to each other. And y'all have literally already started doing that. Mm-hmm. So like how much worse can we get?
Yeah. I don't know. It's maybe it was the way that it.
Oh, it sounded very defeated.
It to me defeated. It felt like, sir, I'm sorry. Let's not anymore.
I mean, I don't think it was given that because I just think
somber,
that Drake is too arrogant to give that. I think he's trying to give.
As arrogant.
I think he's trying to give sore loser, but he's trying to give it in the most humble way that he can.
I think that he was because this is the thing. This is what I read when people do shit like that because it bothers me. Mm-hmm. Because it's like a thin line, and it's like you trying to still have an arrogance and play down. Oh, that was a nice exercise. No, bitch, you got slaughtered. Stop.
So what do you want him to say? Hey guys, I got slaughtered.
Nah, but
it's
not that. But don't. For me, I'm just telling you, this is my opinion. This is what I don't like. Mm-hmm. Don't sit here and act like it wasn't. No, this was like because this wasn't an exercise. This was you running a race.
Yeah.
And this is what an exercise mean. This is like, oh, I'm getting ready for a race. No, you ran. This was the Olympics, right? We was at the Olympics. This wasn't the warm up. Maybe.
So you feel like he just shouldn't have said nothing at all?
No, I'm not saying that. I think that there are things that you can say. Like even if it was like, you know what, bro. At this point, we've said everything that we could say about each other, and I don't want to get to the point where we saying stuff that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So we can have our situation. We don't never gotta speak again. I'm deading this at this point because I don't want it to go too far. Mm-hmm. To me, that's a little bit more. I can take that.
Yeah.
Than you acting like don't play with me because you playing like this shit wasn't. Like I was just this was amusing. I was at amusement.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying I feel like Drake is a arrogant person, so he's gonna. That's the only spin that he can put on. Right,
but again, to me, it proves the lack of. You just keep proving the same shit over and over and over
absolutely.
Again.
But it's true.
That's what I was like. So don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell no truth about you. Because I mean, this is the thing. It's for this, what Kendrick has now done is 2 truths and a lie. Mm-hmm. And so many things in your life is true. I don't know where the lie is.
Yeah.
That's what he has done.
And there may be some lies.
Right, but this is what it boils down to. I'm glad that's what it is. Everything that Kendrick did, true lies and or it's low somewhere in between. He has played the game with you, 2 truths and a lie, mm-hmm. and no one can tell the lie. Mm-hmm. And you, Drake, unfortunately, the way you played it, it's a question, but it's not a full question, right? Because I see his wife on his out. I see them together. And he's also talked about them not being, like, he's been truthful in his stuff. Baby Cake, you the only one that's hit a child. Baby Cakes, you're the only one that, like, the things that people have said have come to be true. You're the one that's texting that little girl. She said, like, no one, like, so if then you say, well, he doing this, I'm like, well.
I really think that Drake, I agree with you. I think that he could have played that game a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you join and going back and forth. I may not necessarily know if it's true, but if I be like, you know, oh, you adopted. That could be
a full falsification.
But I'm gonna go with the Joan because I'm crafting a story and causing people to have doubt.
Yeah.
I don't have to have no evidence. I could just be like, child, you look like neither one of your parents. They got you off the back of a milk truck.
Right. And they be like, well, that nigga don't look like, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And so
I feel like Drake, he just missed the opportunity to, like,
he missed a lot of opportunities.
Really.
But the thing that's
kind of play those mind games where,
yes.
like, I'm just gonna say any fucking thing that could be slightly credible.
Right.
Nobody can prove whether it is or not.
Right.
All you have to do is put that doubt in people's minds.
Right. But the one thing that has lended itself to Kendrick, what she said, I'm sorry that I'm born. People are smart. If you can't talk about my stuff if you don't know about my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, like, we can't then
but
put
see,
out a.
I would have made up some shit. I would have made up some shit.
That might be what he did. But you have to make up stuff that's believable.
Plausible.
Right. He just was throwing stuff. I'm just like, okay.
What I did find really interesting was nobody, not Kendrick, nor his baby mom, denied the Dave Freeze allegations.
Because you know what happens? This is what happens. If you deny,
Dave Freeze didn't even deny it.
But this is the thing. If you think about it, more often than not, when somebody denies it, they be like, nigga, you lying.
But it was certain things that Kendrick did deny. Like, he denied the molestation thing.
Because that happened to his mom.
I'm just saying.
And I think that
if that wasn't true, if both of those kids are yours and they're not one of them's not Dave Freeze's kid, wouldn't it have just been easy to be like, but he could have put like a line in about birth certificates or DNA or something. I don't know.
Yes, true. You know why? So I think the molestation part of it, trigger warning,
Yeah.
is why. Trigger warning. He should not have said anything about, because that's not even something that's to be played about.
True.
You don't.
But also,
because
being a pedophile ain't something to be played about.
But if you sitting here talking to girls that's 14, I can't say that you're not.
But he pulled it out. You know what I mean? Where that wasn't the focus until he said it was.
But this is the thing. So the kids weren't the focus. Like, none of that's the focus, right? You say something about something happening to him as a young child. There are people that actually happened to.
Mm-hmm.
So you bringing that up in just, and I think that is something that you say, no, that did not, like, I can't be I'm not going to allow you to.
I can't say that I was a victim of that,
and I'm not gonna let that fly.
Yeah.
Because then later on, they're like, you never said it. Like Drake said that you know what I'm saying. I think that's something that you don't play with. You can talk about, okay, that made my kids, you know, my wife cheating. We can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not gonna let you play on somebody else's top. Because there are people that are listening to this song that's really happening to.
Mm-hmm.
And now that did not happen to me. It happened to my mom, though. And I'm not going to let you play on my top like that. Nah, we're not going to do that. Now, little Billy Lady said that if she's 14 and that y'all text each other and you told her that you miss her. We got a problem. What did you got to talk about? You a grown man. So, again,
I don't know. I mean, I don't condone it, but I also feel like everybody in the industry have, I don't know. I just feel like that topic to me, it's like, okay, if we're going to call it out, let's call it all the way around and out. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of y'all idols have done the same shit. So
I think that Kendrick said it, though.
If we canceling Drake, we canceling a lot of them.
And that's the
for
thing.
The same shit.
And he said that. He was like, y'all, the folks you hang with, the folks you hang with. And so I think, because this is the thing, and this is what.
But then Kendrick Lamar, wasn't he fighting to keep R. Kelly's music on Apple Music?
No. And that's the thing. I listened to somebody that was talking about that. He said no. At the same time that they were taking R. Kelly's music off, they were taking Triple X, the one that passed away. And so he was like, if y'all take my music, if he take off X's music, then I'm taking my music. It was about X. It wasn't about R. Kelly. But they were doing theirs both at the same time. So they wrapped those two together. Oh, you was doing that for R. Kelly? And he was like, because I listened to someone who's like a Kendrick fan. He said, he literally said, because the reason that with this Drake beef, XXX song had an issue with Drake, and we had already started doing this, talking about him, and he continued it because him and that guy was tight. It wasn't about R. Kelly. It was about the other guy, and that's what ends up happening. You have two things that's happening at the same time, and if somebody says something, then it's like, oh, you don't want none of that. No, I wasn't talking about. I don't give a damn about R. Kelly. It's just happening at the same time. I can't do nothing about that. So that wasn't, because they said somebody else kind of brung that up, and they was like, let's clear that up first and foremost. No. So I think, and I I'm not going to say that you don't become cordial or friendly with somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out they got some
even
sticky
if you
icky.
already know, because I feel like, oh, okay, I get what
you know, it's like, so you can get into the industry, right? You in your own lane. You're not on nothing that has to do with anything with, like, for example, you don't got nothing to do with Diddy, but he having you at a party. Mm-hmm. You've hung out with him at different industry stuff. Mm-hmm. Then now it's been a year, 2 years. You never were able to make it to anything, but now you end up at his party. Now you've now hung out with this person for multiple things, so y'all are cordial. Y'all are cool. Then you see the other side of him. It's like, you know what? I can't deal with that. Now you can pull up pictures from a year ago, 2 years ago. Yeah, I did hang out with him because I didn't know him. I'm not going to, sometimes you don't go off of the he say, she say, or the hearsay. Mm-hmm. You really want to see it. And if you see it, or you start to feel a little uncomfortable, because like 50 said, he was cool with Diddy until he was like, let me take you shopping. Nigga, the fuck? Wait a minute. No.
Take you to where they'll give you whatever you want.
No. So yeah, I think that's, because I think that you go into the industry thinking that these people aren't who they are, and they turn into some very strange thing.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I'm not giving him a pass for that. I'm just saying that I feel like that is very common, and I don't think it's unique.
Well, yeah, I think no, I'm not. This is the thing. I'm not saying that at all. I've seen, we've seen and heard of a lot of. We just watched. I'm going to say Offset, Quiet on the Set.
Oh yes,
mm-hmm. You know, and then with the R. Kelly, we talk about Cosby. So this is not unfamiliar territory. We're not going into a space of like we're confused. And it's an unfortunate situation. But I feel like this is what happens when you have to. This is why you have to stay true to yourself, and the fame and stuff can't be what you're chasing. Yeah, because you end up in situations where, while chasing fame, you end up having to be in the room with people that aren't the best type of people to get where you need to go. And
or you start adapting their mindset, because I'm not saying that Drake was influenced, but I'm just giving a general example. Not being in that world and just living regular life, that may not have crossed your mind. Right. But now that you're hanging around Diddy, you're hanging around
and
different
everybody
people
seems like it's okay.
Right. Now it's like, oh.
Well, it's not a big to-do. It's a normal thing.
Yeah, it's a normal thing when it's really not.
Yes.
But anyway, do you think it's over?
I think Drake got bigger fish to fry with people shooting up at his house. I don't know if that's real.
I mean, I think it is real, but like I don't know if it's like really real.
So from
I think it may. So what's the details on that?
So what I've seen, what I've read upon, because like I said, I this is not somewhere I live. I don't live on Rap Lane. I live in 90s R&B court. Sorry, I don't. So, from what I have consumed, it's another rapper or producer, something EXO, and EXO and OVO, they have an issue with each other.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, and they think it was Drake's people, someone at XO's or OX, their hub, their security person got shot. So then this is more of a retaliation kind of situation. And so that's what somebody else that was like, Drake got so wrapped up over here, he forgot, you really got shit going on. Like real shit over here kind of thing. And the thing is, and Kendrick's not a part of that. But this is what happened with Tupac and Biggie. Like, y'all, like, y'all talking shit, but like, it's real shit going on.
Not to mention, like, fans can be crazy too. Like, remember with the Nicki and Meg beef, and the fans were doing shit. So, like, I hope it's over. I hope it's over. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. A good time. It was cute. But I hope it's over.
And we got a really good song out of it.
We did.
We got
a few good songs.
We got a few good songs. I guess I'll say we got a good summer song. A nice little dance pop too.
For sure. Okay, last thing I want to say about it is that I feel so bad for J. Cole because all of this completely overshadowed. People forget that he put out a brand new album at the end of April.
Unfortunately, that's what happens during the rap beef. Whoever puts anything out during that time.
It was the beginning of April. Yeah, but nobody's talking about his album.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get back to you. We'll
that
get back to that.
sucks for him.
J. Cole fans are going to listen to his songs.
And then they will. I listened to the album. I didn't particularly care for it. But I just thought it was very slow. But again, I'm more of a bop girl.
That's what. Yeah. So again, people's fandom will get into it. But I think at this time, it just. But I think a lot of people apologize for J. Cole. They was like, we understand. Because because the thing is, we don't know these people for real. You know these niggas, and these niggas was niggering. I know you don't like people saying that. I mean, he don't really care because I'm a real nigga, but yeah.
Anyway, that's that on that.
Child, we talked about that for forever.
I know.
It was a lot though.
This is gonna be a long one, so y'all just buckle
up, and sit back. Listen to us on a road trip. It's about to be summertime.
Right. So look, I was watching. So I watched Baby Reindeer. I know you didn't watch it.
I didn't. No.
It was not even scary.
It's not the scary stuff. There are a few things that I don't like. I don't like documentary. I don't like real stuff that has happened to people. Okay. I don't like that.
Okay.
Because then I internalize that they've gone. Like, I don't like that.
Now, it's definitely based on a true story.
Yeah, I don't like true story stuff. I will not watch those.
Okay.
I don't watch scary. I don't watch true crime. Now, because so this is what ends up happening. I'm full of a lot of things because I watch HLN and watch those stories. But murder, kill, right? But when you watch it like a documentary for me, like that's like an hour, and it's a lot of commercials, so it's a breaking up of things. A documentary is like a long period of time, especially on Netflix. Ain't no commercials. It's getting very detailed, and people's like, I didn't watch Dahmer either.
I watched it. That shit disturbed me.
No, murder, kill. I don't want to do like that. Those are massive. I can't.
Well, this one wasn't even that bad, but it was kind of dark. So
I don't like.
Spoiler alert! I'm getting ready to tell y'all everything that fucking happened. Right. So spoiler alert! So basically, it's based on a true story, which I did not know that. I didn't know it was based on a true story. Also, what gagged me was I didn't know the main character was playing himself. Like, this is his real life. He acted his ass off. I thought he was a real actor. Well, I shouldn't say real actor because he is a real actor, but it's hard to play yourself.
Yeah.
He acted his ass off. So that was the other thing I didn't know. I think it was very transparent for him to be telling his real life story. That shit was crazy. Very self-reflective. Basically, the series is based on this comedian / actor, Richard Gads. It's his real life experience of being stalked and sexually assaulted in his early 20s. Trigger warning, trigger warning. Uh, Basically, he's an aspiring comedian. And so the story begins where he's in the process of advancing his comedy career. He's working full time at a pub. Um, and so in real life, he has a breakdown at one of his comedy shows that goes viral. And from that, he created like a one man show where he kind of chronicles everything that happened. That one man show also gets real popular, which put him in position for Netflix to offer him the TV series deal. So basically, y'all, this is what happened. If you didn't watch it, I'm about to tell you everything that happened. So
Buckle your seatbelt.
yeah, and also trigger warning,
Trigger warning, because that man does get essayed.
Yeah. So anyway, let me take a little sip, clear my throat.
Let's get into it.
So the main character
Story time.
is played by Robert Gad. The character's name is Donnie Dunn. He's a struggling comedian working at a pub in Camden, where he meets a woman named Martha who seems to be a little bit down on her luck. So she comes in and she sits down at the bar where he works, and he sees her. He kind of feels sorry for her. He asks her if he can get her anything. She says she can't afford anything, so he offers her a cup of tea, gives it to her on the house. From that day on, she comes into the pub every day, and he gives her a free, start giving her Diet Coke. And she talks this nigga's head off the whole time. But she also compliments him and all of that. And he feels sorry for her, so he feeds into it. And she ain't causing no harm. Well, then she gets his email address off of his comedy website, right? And once she gets his email address, she starts sending him emails, like 100 emails a day. Just random shit. A lot of like typos, misspellings. She's just ranting in email, right? So he kind of enjoys the attention. And later on, we learn why. we learn why he's kind of feeding into this. So we learn why he's eating it all up, right? So once he kind of feels like, man, she doing a lot, he looks her up. And when he looks her up, he finds that, well, actually, no, she finds him on Facebook and sends him a friend request. After she sends him a friend request, she starts going crazy on his Facebook, like going all the way back to like old messages and things like that. And basically, he looks her up and he's like, let me look this lady up. Finds out that she's convicted of stalking, and that she's actually gone to jail for it. So now he like, okay, shit getting crazy. But he continues to entertain this woman, and then things kind of escalate. They get a little bit out of hand. So I'm going to read this from a Forbes article because they kind of sum up the second part of it really well. So basically it says, in the second half of the show, I feel so bad because my throat is so scratchy. In the second half of the show, we discover a lot more about what motivates Donnie and what's holding him back. In the fourth episode, it takes a very dark turn. We flash back about 5 years to when Dunn was getting started in his comedic career, trying and failing rather badly. To get his comedy routine going in Edinburgh, there he meets a writer named Darren in the show. The two hit it off. Darren helps him turn around his comedy show almost overnight. Donnie gets that first taste of what fame might be like, and he's addicted. When Donnie moves to London, he and Darren reconnect, and soon they're spending an inordinate amount of time together. Darren promises to help Donnie get his writing career off the ground and feeds him massive amounts of drugs. In the process, something Donnie goes along with because he's trying to impress his new mentor. When Darren gives him a shot of GHB, which is a common date rape drug, it becomes all too apparent what's happening. He's been groomed, lied to, and put in a terribly vulnerable position. When all of this leads to repeated sexual assault and eventually rape, you would hope that Donnie will leave. Well, he does not. He stays in this horrifying situation, still clinging on to the idea that Darren meant what he said about him, about having him, about him having talent, and that this really will be his best shot at fame. When he finally does leave his abuser, he is completely dejected, and at this point, he's feeling at his lowest. So, meeting Martha at this time in his life becomes an ego boost for him, but it's a very toxic one. In the final episode, Donnie finally melts down, revealing everything that's happened to him while performing at a stand up comedy final. The monologue goes viral on YouTube, and Donnie finally gets his big break, landing sold out gigs and once again tasting that sweet, sweet adoration and fame. But the nightmare continues. When Martha begins stalking his parents now, she threatens to tell them about his online confession. So he visits his parents, tells them everything, and it's another heartbreaking scene because his parents didn't reject him, but his father reveals that he too was sexually assaulted when he was a young boy. So Donnie tells them that he's worried they'll think him less of a man, and his dad replies, "What do you think I'm less of a man?" Before really revealing that he was abused by a priest when he went to a Catholic school. In the end, Martha is convicted of stalking and harassment against Donnie and his parents after she leaves a threatening email. So that was how Forbes kind of described it, and I thought that it kind of highlighted all the spots. Yeah. But anyway, if you still want to watch it, even though I spoiled everything, it's worth it because when I tell you I was glued, I literally stayed up late at night.
I one thing I will not watch, and this is why I'm very conscientious of watching true documentaries. I cannot deal with SA.
The way they do it, they don't really show it, except for the one time that he did actually get like RAPED.
Yeah, I don't need to see it.
They did show that, and it was hard to see. Like it almost brought tears to my eyes.
I will not. That's what I'm saying.
But all of the
because even just hearing it is giving me it's so very uncomfortable feeling.
It was so heart wrenching. Oh, but one thing that I did want to just say about it is that the first thing that came to my mind is we're always kind of so, I don't want to say we are, but in my circle, in my community, we're always so very protective of our girls. But our boys need protection too.
Let me tell you something.
Because he was in his 20s and just lusting after fame. And so he's doing whatever just because somebody is promising him that fame. He gave him a little taste of it.
And then you just all in. When I tell you, I'm in them kids' business. You hear me? In the business.
But he was 20. He was like 21, 22.
I'm gonna be in them kids' business. No, who you hanging with? What's going on? And the thing is, I don't know how old he is now, but that generation, they not talking about stuff.
Yeah, they not. I think he's like around. I think he's in his mid-30s now.
Yeah, if that is so prevalent in our generation because our parents did not talk to us. It was kind of like we was outside. It was a free for all. Latchkey kids. There wasn't social media. It wasn't as prevalent. Now, I'm not gonna say that it was very prevalent. We just ain't hear about it. We didn't know about it. It's nothing to really talk about. A lot of guys, if you talk to them, they're like, "Oh, I lost my virginity at 13. This older, sir, that's molestation. Ain't nothing happened to me. I wanted it, sir." So the thought process for us, I think that we are trying to. I think we will be we're different in how we try to do things, but I cannot watch that. Like
you got the synopsis, so you don't have to watch it.
It was a good program. It was a good program.
The real life Martha did an interview recently last week, I believe, and I haven't watched it, so
sounds like a good program.
I'll watch it. Like I'm not pressed to watch it. I'll watch it eventually, but. Girl, when I tell you that thing had me shook, because at first I thought, oh, this is going to be a little dark comedy. Okay. When they was getting into the deep, but I really loved how he just explained like his mindset, why he kept going back, how he felt. I mean, it really fucked with his psyche, and I appreciate pulling that layer back and
Because I think
seeing.
at one point he started dating guys because he didn't.
Yeah, because he was so confused about his sexuality. He's like, if I let him do this, maybe this is something I like. But it's like, no, you were being molested. Like, but I think that that is so common that people, and this is why it's very common for people to be promiscuous after situations like that, because something is happening in your brain where your brain is trying to piece together, why did this happen?
And I either wanted it, or because I got
you
aroused
begin
by
to
it, or
internalize it. Yeah. And so I really appreciated the way that he pulled the layers back of that and just really very transparently expressed what he was thinking at that time, why he did what he did, where his head was at. But then when he was in real relationships, he could so when he was being promiscuous as a way of rebelling against the SA, he could be sexual. But when he was in a really loving relationship, he couldn't. And to me, I feel like he basically started using sex as a way to kind of
connect.
Reclaim
Yeah, okay.
himself.
Yeah,
But then when it came to connecting emotionally, he couldn't attach sex to it.
Yeah.
So it was really eye-opening for me. It
Yeah.
was very eye-opening for me. So anyway, I recommend. It was a good watch. I'm watching them. But I'm not finished though. Y'all, it's taking me forever to watch it. But I want to do a deep dive on it when I do finish it.
And
so.
I'll watch. Yeah, and I'll hear about the program.
So stay tuned on that. So far though, I like it. I really like Luke James' acting.
Okay.
So we'll get into it.
I tried to start watching The Fallout, but it was just getting on my damn
It's
nerves.
good.
What's good about it?
It's so good.
I tried to start watching it. It seemed like it. I mean, I don't know.
What you don't like about it?
I don't know. It's just. I don't know.
How many episodes did you watch?
I haven't watched a full episode of anything. I'd be skipping. I know the man that got his leg shot off. I saw when he killed the black people. The skeleton man.
Yeah.
He shot the man leg off. The man had the girl cut the head off. That's what I stopped at.
Keep watching it.
I'm gonna try. LaToya.
It's good.
First of all, I'm not watching it at nighttime.
It's not scary.
I don't want to have that skeleton man in my dreams, LaToya. I don't have time for that.
It's nothing about Fallout that's scary, I promise you.
I don't have time for that skeleton man to be in my dreams. When he shot that leg off, I was surprised. It took me aback. I said, oh, fast forward.
It's a lot of violence.
It is very violent.
But it's nothing scary, though.
I have a very vivid imagination. If I'm tired, I'm going to dream about the last thing I saw.
Why I seen, y'all, this is going off the rails, but whatever. Why I seen this lady was pranking her husband, and I thought about you because she had this it was like a little Halloween mask, but it was like a face and two hands. And so she went on the outside, she put it up on the outside of the window, but she's in the mask and it's like a mask and two hands. So she's on the window like this with this scary mask on and the little crinkly hands. And the dog starts barking, right? So then the husband is going over to see what the dog is barking at. He pulled back the curtains and seen that shit. When I tell you that man almost fell and broke his back. And I thought about you.
Divorce. File me on papers right now. I'm not playing games with you. I'm not.
I said she would have been traumatized.
You think I would have moved out? That's why I don't play them kind of games.
I said she would have been
we be in front of the
traumatized.
lawyers and they be like, "Why y'all getting divorced?" Because he played too much. And I don't trust him any longer. You have broken my trust. I can't look out the window comfortably anymore.
I'm gonna send it to you. It was so
No,
funny.
it's so rude. It's so rude.
The only thing I don't like about stuff like that is it's all fun and games until somebody really hurt themselves.
It's
and
all
then
fun
you
and
be
games
at
till you
work
get shot.
and you be like, "What happened to your back?" "Oh, my wife pranked me, and now I done dislocated 3 discs in my spine." Like another guy,
It's
he
all fun and
jumped
games
out.
till I done had a heart attack and I'm on a stretcher.
Another guy jumped out of the pantry and scared his wife. She punched him, and he literally fell back and broke all the pantry shelves.
I saw that one. It's leave people alone.
All right, y'all.
Are we gonna let them go?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do the main and the Are You Here For? We could do it for another day.
Yeah.
Because we gave y'all a lot of.
We did.
We had to do. We very rarely dive into the socials, and this is why, because we can't get through, because it's too much.
It'd be too much.
Because then we got to watch all of the commentary, and it was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot going on. So, with that, we bid you adieu.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop in the comments, and yeah.
See you on the next episode.
Period.
And we will
Drink to that.